Good evening all, and once again welcome back to the Fergie way we meet each FM. Now, in yesterday's episode, we of course managed a 3-1 win against Barcelona at Old Trafford, and today's episode we have to go face them at the Nou Camp with what I would call, against one of Europe's big boys, a slender 2-goal lead. The question is, can the lads get out there and maybe grab an early away goal just to sort of settle the tie a bit? So first of all then, we'll take a quick look at the news, and as we can see from the monthlies again, once again due to probably bad form by the team, and not bad form but just a little dip, let's be honest. We didn't get anything in the Player of the Award, and we didn't get anything in the Manager of the Month Award. We weren't even second or third. However, in the youngsters, clean sweep. Rashawn Williams coming up top there, which is pretty good for Rashawn Williams. I'm pretty sure it's the first time he's ever won anything in the Young Player of the Month Award. We then had Twinzabi in second and Angel Gomez in third. So again, I keep beating this drum, but we're playing this to bring the youngsters in, but this proves that we're doing the right thing. On the subject of youngsters, Callum Gribbin did come to me for a new contract, and to be honest, it was quite fair. I still had him down as a hot prospect. He was earning something very mediocre, a few £1,000s a week. He's now earning £54,000 a week, which is a massive step for him. However, I've kept him on a backup contract because he asked for rotation, and he kept trying to push for rotation, or his agent did, should I say. And I just kept saying no. I wanted to get him on backup because essentially he does play where Pogba plays. And he's not at the moment at the calibre to rotate with Pogba on a game-by-game basis. So I wanted him to be on backup just so that there was no whinging. So, yeah. In other news, we did have our youth intake. And I didn't tell you at the beginning of the season that I actually got rid of Nicky Butt, which was a hard thing to do because he was a sort of member of the class of 92, as it were. And I really didn't want to get rid of him, but the 2 seasons prior, we'd had really, really shit youth intake, so I went and got the best head of youth development I could get that was available at the time, and we still got shit. I mean, not shit, we got some decent players. This Dom Hodge here, he's rated at sort of 3.5 stars, but yeah, we're wanting more than that. He should be alright, he's progressing alright. Check out those eyes, crazy man. But when I replaced Nicky Butt, it was to try and bring in a lot more youngsters, and I'll be honest, it's not really come to fruition. I was hoping to try and get maybe 1 or 2 5-stars. Maybe just one would have been good enough, or some 4s. But as you can see, the 4s that are kicking round is Angel Gomez here. Leo Connor, we've already had him for a couple of years as well. George Tanner's one that's been here for a couple of years. But most of the youth were just absolute garbage. Gutted, to be honest with you. So there we go then, that was all the news tidied up between sort of last episode and this episode. We have, however, played a few games, so what we'll do is we'll take a look. It started with West Ham in the FA Cup 5th round, and as you can see, we ran out convincing 3-0 winners. Zlatan grabbing a goal along with Mata and Pogba. Good to see Zlatan getting on the score sheet, of course. We've hung on to him since the January transfer window. It made no sense to go out and spend any money and buy anyone. Just because I wouldn't have been able to play him in Europe, so it would have been a bit of a waste. So an easy victory. Of course, we progressed, and we went on into the draw, and we actually got the easiest team in the draw. And that team was Brentford. We're away from home against Brentford, but nonetheless, we got fucking Brentford. Possibly a chance to play some of the youngsters. However, we will chase the FA Cup. FA Cup's important to us, the EFL Cup wasn't, so it's definitely one that I want to win. So maybe a little bit of a mixed bag. We'll see how it goes. It's dependent on how tired people are, because I'm pretty sure that game comes straight after the Barca game. So we then went from the West Ham game and we took a visit of Leicester to Old Trafford. And it's got to be honest, we pretty much fluked it. 90th minute, Memphis grabbed himself a goal. 28 shots, 7 on target. They actually had Jamie Vardy playing this time round. He was injured in the last game, if I remember rightly. He was brought off. He didn't do that well, but it was just interesting to see him back on the pitch. It's fair to say that Leicester came to Old Trafford and dug in. Basically, they played very much a defensive game. It pretty much worked for them. And then Memphis popped up in the last few minutes, grabbed a goal. A little bit of a disappointment, I suppose, for Leicester and Leicester fans, because they'd pretty much secured themselves a point. However, the good teams always manage to nick something, and that's what happened in that game. We then took the long journey all the way down to St Mary's, and once again Zlatan Ibrahimovic opening the scoring in the 20th minute. But what was interesting here is Memphis scored 2 goals, as you can see, the 80th and the 90th plus 1. But if we take a look, he came on the field on the 64th minute. Grabbed 2 late goals, so that's pretty much going to give him a start in today's game against Barcelona. I'm just not sure who I'm going to play up there with him yet, because of course Rashford's still pretty much out of the question. He's back on light duties, but he certainly won't be featuring in the Barca game. So it's whether I'm going to start Memphis with Martial or Memphis with Zlatan again, because I think Zlatan did all right in the last game at Barca. So, yeah, a resounding victory. Southampton were okay, but they just didn't have anything going forward, it has to be said. So a 3-0 win. And yeah, another 3 points. It was a decent little haul there between the last episode and this one, and it does put us in a relatively decent position in the league. And that was all the games then, so it leaves us with nothing more to do but to head over to the team selection screen, see who we're going to pick for this massive crunch game against Barcelona at the Nou Camp. So yeah, I'll see you over there. So as we head into game day then, the first thing that is massively evident yet unsurprising is the fact that Barcelona are going to be going for this today. They've set up with pretty much 4 people up front, up the top of the pitch, which is not the way we normally play against them. As you know, they've used that familiar formation that City have beaten us with just lately. So I may have to make a couple of little changes just to ensure that certainly down the wings we're not going to suffer too much. So we'll go on to the Barcelona. Barcelona's starting 11. They've got Ter Stegen, Digny, Umtiti, Jimenez and Roberto. Then they have Rafinha and Rakitic in the middle, who played quite well in the last game if you remember. Then they have Neymar and Messi out wide on the wings with Pedro and Suarez up top. Now, with them being so attacking, it may give us a little bit more space down the middle of the pitch. They've spread themselves a little bit wider. They've only got 2 men to try and cope with our sort of 4-man midfield. However, we'll see how it goes. So my team for today is De Gea, Alaba, Smalling, Romagnoli and Darmian. We then have Fosu-Mensah coming in for Neves, who of course got a yellow card in the last tie, so he's suspended for this one. And then we have Sanchez playing the support role and Pogba as the advanced playmaker. We have Juan Mata playing a trequartista role, and then we've got Depay and Martial. Now, Depay starting the game based on the form last season. So Depay starting the game based on the fact that he got 3 goals in the last couple of games. Martial's not had the greatest of recent form. However, I want to try and bring Zlatan later on in the game if I need to just pump it forward, basically. If I need to go a little bit route one, a little bit direct, it needs to be hitting Zlatan on the last man. So we'll see how we go. Because it's only a slender 2-goal lead. So we'll go into the opposition instructions. What have you got to say today, Roy? Because it is massively important. I expected a bit more, Roy. I expected a bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hard tackle the 2 guys in the middle because, as I say, in the last game they played very, very well. I'll maybe even close down Rakitic. And other than that, we'll go on to the team talk. Want to see a green here. So passionately, go out and put a worthy display. We've got some green. However, I've got faith in these guys. Let's try and get everything green because we're not going to get 1. Is it going to be any more? So it's 2. We've got De Gea who didn't get green, and we've got Fosu-Mensah, Paul Pogba who didn't get green. Damn you, Pogba. But yeah, based on the fact that Barcelona are playing these wide men, I've come into the tactic briefly and I've actually changed Alaba and Darmian to defensive wing-backs rather than the supportive, complete wing-backs that they usually play. I'll be keeping my eye out for Barcelona changing their formation as we go. When they change, I'll change it back to something we're more familiar with. So basically, we're going to struggle a little bit with widths today because we're not going to be getting Alaba and Darmian as much forward as we usually do. We'll just have to measure it as the game starts and see how we get on. So as we start the game, it will be interesting to see how Barcelona come at us. So we're just going to put their formation up on the screen because I want to see... Nice one, end of the formation. I want to see this. If I can see it there, we'll just move that down there. Keep it at the bottom because... if they change out of that formation, which I think they might do if they nick themselves a goal, I want to be able to change to my familiar formation and basically get a little bit more from the game. So we've got Memphis on the ball now to Sanchez, Mata. Mata tried a little slide ball forward there for Martial, but it didn't come off. We are back on the ball though through Darmian. And it's Pogba now. Mata to Pogba. Still Pogba. Shot that just goes wide of the post, but the attacking intent from us is clear from the outset. Barcelona not starting maybe as quick as I thought they would. I thought there'd just be a barrage at our goal from the very first minute, but it's not quite happened yet. Mata, ball in, it's landed out with Mensah. It's Sanchez now to Mata. Memphis from distance, get in there! Come on! We needed that goal because now, to even get this into extra time, Barca have to score 3. Memphis, of course, on a little rich vein of form at the moment. Mata plays the ball out to him on the edge. Right foot, beats Ter Stegen from a hell of a distance, it has to be said. And that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable about this game. It's Rafinha now, whips it back. It's Neymar. Neymar in the box, saved by De Gea. That's their second shot on target. They've had 38% possession. No, it's only 36 minutes in. This time for Barcelona to try and get something out of this. Memphis now to Martial. Martial gets snapped by Digne. That looked like it might have been a bit of a dirty one. Is he going to walk? Booking for Digne. I did think it might have been a red then, but it's not happened. Barcelona still sat in this sort of 4-2-4 formation, and hopefully we're commanding the midfield out there. It certainly looks that way. It's Messi now. Messi forward to Suarez. Suarez to Pedro. Pedro had space, saved by De Gea, pushed round the post, and Barcelona seem to have clicked up a gear, and they're going to just keep on attacking and attacking. But then they have to now. They're only going to have the second half to try and score, well, to win 4 goals. 3 goals will push them into extra time, which is not going to be enough for them. So as we head into half time, I'm going to tell the guys that I'm relatively pleased, but we should guard from complacency, I would say. So we might have been solid lead, but could still change. Keep your performance levels up. Got some greens going on. Tell the strikers that we've got faith, because we are just all about trying to win this. Faith again, and we don't need to do anything with the defenders. We'll get on into the second half, and at the moment, everything's going relatively to plan. I'd like to think that dropping those complete wing-backs into sort of defensive wing-backs has sort of done a job there, because Messi and Neymar both struggling to get him from the wide positions. It's Fosu-Mensah to Pogba. Pogba to Mata. Mata, get in there! Tie over. There's no chance. I mean, it doesn't matter how many goals. Well, it does matter, but they're not going to score enough goals now, in my opinion, to get through this. And for what was going to be a really squeaky bum tie that I wasn't sure was going to be able to come through on the other end with certainty, it looks like we have done just enough to get through there. 5-1 on aggregate. We are currently mirroring the aggregate score from when we played Barcelona last year. We're in the 55th minute, and Barcelona now have got to score 5 goals to try and get a win. We won't be seeing extra time no matter what, but to be honest, I think we've walked out of this as winners. It's Suarez now to Rafinha. Rafinha there with pretty much a clear-cut chance. Hits it straight at De Gea, and I would say Barcelona are currently on the ropes. So Barcelona have dropped to the 4-1-4-1 formation, which means that I'm going to go to my tactics. And as I said earlier on, I'm going to switch myself back to the way we normally play with complete wing-backs in support duties. We'll confirm them changes off for now. We are in the 65th minute, so we're probably going to make a sub or two in a second anyway. But yeah, pleased as punch, because when they grabbed that away goal at Old Trafford, I thought it might have spelt danger for us. It's not happened, but Rafinha on the ball now. He's going to try and clear it forward. He does do, but doesn't get to Suarez. However, Phil Jones has picked it up, levered it forward to De Gea, and nothing gone on there. So 72nd minute, we take a look. We've got some absolutely crackered players. So we're going to take off Herrera. Bring on Herrera for Sanchez. We're also going to bring on young Callum Gribbin. And do you know what we're going to do as well? As I now feel we've got the game. Martial's been having a poor one. I could bring on Zlatan. I'm not going to. I'm going to bring on young Gomez for Mata. That's what I'm going to do. Give the young lads a little run at it. See how they get on. Because, I mean, Barcelona could score on this highlight. It's not going to matter. They need to score so many goals now. They're not going to win the game. So let's try and give some of these youngsters a bash at the game. It's Pedro now. Pedro plays it forward to Suarez, breaking the back line as he does so naturally. They do score a goal, but again, I mean, that puts it 5-2 on aggregate. They're going to have to score another 4 goals to get anything from this game. And with only 17 minutes to go, even the mighty Barcelona are going to struggle to do that. And we got all the way to the 90th minute. The kids didn't even do anything in the game. Not much of a chance. We've run out. Well, we will run it. There we go. 2-1 winners at the Nou Camp. We march on in our quest for the Champions League against one of Europe's big boys. And following that victory, I don't care how big a team come at us now, because I genuinely feel that my squad are going to be able to do this. So we go to the team talk, and we're of course going to tell them that we're over the moon. Well done, it was a great win for us. However, Martial, you were very poor. I'm not happy with his performance tonight. Juan Mata played well, so we can tell him that your dominating performance today was spectacular. And other than that, everyone else was relatively on the level. Good game all in. We'll go into the next round of the Champions League. So there we go then. Today's episode done and dusted. We have managed to get past the mighty Barcelona. It was a little bit twitchy at times, but we did do it. The draw's now not for another week or so until the other games have played, so we won't know who we're going to get in the quarterfinals just yet. However, we now need to take a look at the schedule and see what's going to happen in tomorrow night's episode. Now, the very next game's against Brentford in the FA Cup, and I feel that we're going to walk that anyway, so there's no drama there. We then have two Midlands sort of games against Villa and West Brom, which we're not going to play. However, we then have Tottenham, and as we know, Tottenham are always doing quite well in the Premier League. I expect that they're doing quite well in the Premier League this year. I'm not going to go and look now and spoil it, because what we'll do in the next episode when we come back, we'll have a quick look at the Premier League, see how it's going, see what the gaps are like, and see, well, relatively how soon we can have it turned over and sort of done and put to bed. Of course, by that point, we're also going to know who we're going to have in the next round of the Champions League, and it will be the following game from the Tottenham one. So there we go then, guys. If you enjoyed today's episode and enjoyed that emphatic win against Barcelona, do hit the like button down there. It'll help me out a lot. If you're new around here, hit the sub button. If you are new around here, if you check out the links in the description, you'll see the first season review, the second season review, so you can get up to date with how it's been going here on the Fergie way. And other than that, guys, I hope to see you in tomorrow night's episode, where, of course, we are going to play Tottenham in the Premier League. I've been Teach FM, and I'll catch you later. See you in a bit.